If you want to learn to use a Data Republican website, this video is for you. Before we start though, a quick warning. This tool is powerful, but you must use it responsibly. Read carefully, understand the context, and always verify your findings. This is not a verdict, it's a tool for research. Also, please click the share button. Let's get the word out so we have as many people researching the data as possible. Now let's dive in. All right, so here's what I did. I asked Grok to generate a list of judges' names. Once I had that, I simply copied them over. There we go, copy, 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 and then pasted them into a search generator. Now we wait for the tool to run its search. It takes about 5 minutes because it's pulling data from multiple sources. You can see here how many searches have been completed, and soon even more results will appear. Okay, the results are coming in. Let's take a closer look. Here's an example. One of the judges appears on the board of the American Law Institute. That's one connection. Also note that you can see the EIN numbers of all the charitable organizations. This is going to be very important for your search. An EIN is a federal number that identifies a charity. It's like a fingerprint for the charity. There's no two numbers that are the same. Another really powerful tool is to be able to download the results and look at them in more of a traditional spreadsheet format. In this spreadsheet, it's going to show you the EIN, the charity name, the judge's name, or not the judge, but whoever you're searching's name, and then their title. So this really lets you start to see an overall picture of what's going on. You also don't need to use their full name. You can just search a last name, for example, Nixon, Bush, Eisenhower, run search, and you can see the results for just that part of the name. Now, obviously, you'll need to verify that it is the person you're looking out for. This also helps you see relationships of people who share a last name. This will also help you find in-laws, sisters, brothers, because it doesn't matter if they have different names, it'll still search the terms. So once it's done, you'll be able to see, like right here, Julie, Nixon, Eisenhower, for example. Now let's go to the next tool, the charity graph. So we're going to go ahead and copy the EIN number and then bring it over into the charity graph. It's important to know that there's not a full picture. There's so many awards, we can't actually funnel them all in. So again, this is just to help you understand where a lot of the money is going. You can never understand this without the AI. The AI is what puts it all together, makes the connections. Without that, it's just a lot of data that we can't make any sense out of. An important note is the red ones have high taxpayer dollars. If you see red, that's where the taxpayer money is flowing to. So the next tool is the charity funding. You can actually go in and just search by a name, type in like Republican, and then hit search, and it's going to bring up exactly what you're looking for. The important note here is percent paid by taxpayers right there. Now we can go to the nonprofit financials. This is a much more detailed tool. I like this one a lot because I can search and sort by the minimum percentage of taxpayer funds. So you can see like Youth and Family Services of Central Oklahoma is 88% taxpayer funded. You also can search with travel expenses. People spending the least on travel and those spending the most on travel. I think something to be interesting is looking at something that has a high taxpayer fund, but is also spending most of that money on travel expenses. That's the type of work you can do with this tool. One thing I like to do is just look at charities and nonprofits that have a high percentage of taxpayer funds. Now this little slider up here lets you set that number. So let's take it up to 76, 75%. And then hit search. And now you're really just looking at specifically high taxpayer funded companies. This helps you kind of narrow down what you're looking for and then dig in, go find out what these companies are, what they do, and do the research. This is where the power comes from when we're all looking for things that don't make sense. Again, it's not a guilty verdict. It just says, hey, maybe we should look a little deeper into what this company does. And now let's go to our newest tool, the people relations. This lets you take people and kind of see what and who they're related to. Let's start with Bill Kristol. We hit search. Looks like he co-founded a project for the New American Century in 1997. Click on him. And that's going to take us into a bigger view of who he's connected to. This is really like anybody important that Bill Kristol's connected to. So this lets you start to see how the different charities and the different people all relate to each other in like a historical context. Now, again, with all the rest of the tools, you have to verify this stuff is correct. This just gives you a place to go look. So please don't take this and just assume that it's all true. Go do the work. It's so important that we put out real good research and not just, something you think is important. And like the last tool, this is a small percentage. This just gives you a place to look. So go dig deeper, find the stuff that no one else has found. And hopefully soon we'll be able to get the full map. We'll do more work and get more data so we can see the full view. Actually, this is really interesting. I did not realize that Bill Kristol was the manager for Allen Keyes. Again, something I didn't know and I just discovered by looking at this tool. Also, another interesting thing is the colors tell you what type of category it is: education, family, historical, legal, media, political, social, unknown, or work. So this kind of helps you even tell a deeper story by the color of the arrows. Now let's move over to the principal officer search. Now we put William Kristol back in, and now we'll see the institutes that he's part of. Also, too, if you look over on the right, you can click and you can see the USAID grant flow. Just by clicking on that button, it'll take you back into that bigger screen that lets you kind of see, okay, Bill's here. What's he up to? So now we jump back over into this screen and you start doing some research on the charities that are attached to Bill Kristol. I mean, so many different ways to use the tool, but the most important thing is, again, like we said at the beginning, you have to do the research before you go out and make statements about someone being bad or good. So this lets you dig, and until you find something, you really need to hold your judgment. Like, for example, Defending Democracy Together. It's $10 million. Doesn't seem like a big charity. I mean, it's $10 million. You can see that $2 million came from Fidelity Investments, which is probably a donor-advised fund. And then you can also trace it back on down to a high taxpayer-funded Tide Center. So what's the Tide Center? Dig in, figure out what the Tide Center is. Why are they getting so much of our tax money? What are they doing with it? Look for news stories. Look for proof they've actually done anything. There's so much to research. There's just no way that a couple of us alone can actually dig in and find everything to where this tax money is being wasted. All right, that's it for today. If you want to explore these tools yourself, head over to the Data Republican website. Let me know in the comments what you uncover, and remember to verify everything you find. Guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and do more deep dives with the tool. Also, when election season comes back, my old tools will be important again as we go through polling data. So go ahead and check out that. I'll show you. Here's an example of North Carolina. And that's it. So please subscribe and research responsibly. Thanks, guys.